I dedicated this podcast to independent artists. I want to give you guys a straight look in the industry, man. Also want to highlight people behind the music scene, business side. When people see people behind the scenes, they don't know who that is. Yo, what's going on, man? Inkz the GOAT, aka Mr. Billionaire. You welcome to Who's That Podcast, episode number 6, right? So again, my podcast is designed for people that's behind the scenes. I want to shine a spotlight on them. I want to highlight them. So that's what my podcast is about. If you haven't tuned in, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow us at Who's That Podcast. And today, I usually have a guest on the show, but today I'm just going to talk solely to artists. So episode number 6, we're going to talk about funding, right? Where the money at? That's the big question for most people. Where's the money? That's what all artists want to know. How can I get money? Where's the money? How can I get funding? So today what I'm going to talk about is just funding and how artists can get resources to push their music even farther, right? So I have a program that I teach where artists can basically learn about credit and leverage their credit. So when artists ask me about funding and they typically don't have upfront money or they're looking for money, the first thing I tell guys to fix your credit. That's the number one thing. If you don't have money, that's the easiest way to get a large sum of money, right? So fix your credit. That's the number one thing. We typically use credits to leverage ourselves. So we might not have the cash up front, but we might got a good credit score. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the credit that we have, apply for a credit card, apply for whatever with a bank, make sure we can pay it off, but also make sure we're not using our own money. So for example, this is what I teach people a lot of times in some of my courses. Click the link in my bio at Trendset Inkz if you want to learn more. But it's typically what I teach. Basically, what you do is you build your credit score up, right? The typical credit score, a perfect one is 800, but you don't have to have 800 to get a nice amount of money on a credit card or just a loan in general. So typically, man, I tell people you want to get about a 730, 740. You know what I mean? Everybody's different. You know, some people have a high 600 score, 696, 680, and still can walk away with a good amount of money when it comes to borrowing from a bank. It really just depends on your whole credit sheet, you know. But typically, I tell you people you want to shoot for a 730, 740, and that pretty much gets you whatever you need. It's not an 800, but it's going to get you a nice amount for to just push start whatever you got going on. So I tell people we fix your credit up. I have a whole team of staff people that fix credit, or you can just find somebody. It's typically somebody in every neighborhood that fix credit. They know about credit, something of that nature, right? So what I tell people is what you want to do is you want to find somebody that's good at credit. You don't want to go to anybody, right? You want to go to somebody who got expertise, they got prior knowledge, they done did it before. You know, somebody that actually is equipped in credit and finance and financial literacy. You first also want to make sure that their credit is straight, right? So I notice a lot of times people are fixing credit, but their credit is not straight. I'm not going to advise you on something I never had or never did before, right? So you want to make sure you're not dealing with somebody that is a scam artist or they don't have good credit, right? So you want to make sure you're dealing with legit people. Once you identify this person that has great credit, they know what they're talking about, they actually got testimonials, they done did this before, you done seen them fix other people's scores, then you sit down negotiation with them and you tell them, you know, how much can I pay you or what can I do on my side to help fix my credit, right? So you want to make sure you're leveraging yourself. They might not ask you for money. They might just say, hey, shout me out on your social media. You got a good following. I'll fix your credit in exchange for that. Whatever you can leverage. You know what I mean? If you don't have the money to pay them, you know. But once you guys come to terms and they get to fixing your credit, they should clear out your credit report. Everybody's credit report is different. You know what I'm saying? But typically, if they can get your score to a decent amount, 720, 730, 740, like I was saying, it's enough for you to get enough amount of money to push start whatever you're doing. Whether that's 10,000, whether that's 20,000, it's totally on you, but that's more than what you had before. And what we'll do is we'll take that money, that 10, 20,000 that we got on our credit card or whatever we got from the bank, and we're going to use that to front ourselves. Now, we're not going to use that to spend frivolously. You got to be responsible. When it comes to credit, when it comes to finances, when it comes to anything with money, you got to be responsible. That's the number one thing. You can blow, even if somebody gave you a big bag of money, if you're not responsible with it, you're going to blow it. You dig what I'm saying? So make sure that you're responsible when it comes to finances. But like I was saying, the bank give you 10, 20, whatever they give you on a credit card, or however they want to do it. You know, you want to take that 10, 20 and invest it in something that's tangible, something that you know you can get a return on. You know, whether that's merchandise, whether that's you know, your music streams, whatever you see that you know, hey, I made money in this before and I didn't even put that much into it. I didn't put nothing into it at all. If you put more money into it, you're going to make money, right? So a lot of times, a lot of artists are looking to make money, but they're not looking to put no money into it. I don't know how you're going to make money if you're not investing into it, right? You're going to have to put some into it, whether that's money, whether that's sweat equity, whether that's hard work, whatever you got to put into it, some type of value on your end to make more money. And typically, to push your money to make more money, you have to invest more money. That's just the name of the game. And anything you do, whether that's music, whether that's business, whatever you do, you're going to have to invest more money into it, right? So whatever the 10, 20 you're going to put into it, make sure you got some experience in it, you did it before. You know, whether that's merchandise, whatever you're investing into, make sure you know what you're doing. Because, you know, if I spent $10 and I made $20, or I spent $1,000 and I made $2,000, if I take this 10 that this bank gave me, you don't put the whole 10 in because you don't want to run your credit crazy. You want to keep your credit score under 30%. They say under 10%, but, you know, up to you, 10 to 30%, you want to keep it in that range because you don't want your credit on your credit book to look like you just burning up credit cards, right? Because nobody else will trust you, right? So the biggest thing with banks is they want to build a relationship and they looking for collateral. You just think about it yourself, right? Would you give somebody $10,000-$20,000 if you look at their past history and look like you owed everybody in the world, you didn't pay nothing back, you ran people off, you're missing payments, you owe payments, you wouldn't get nobody any money either. So the bank is a little more strenuous. You know, it can be, you know, if you're a certain race, they might be a little more hard on you. It just depends on what type of bank you go to. Particularly, you want to aim for banks that's not really big. You don't want to. You can get stuff from Wells Fargo, Bank of America, stuff like that. But to me, you want to head to credit unions, banks that's a little smaller. You could build a better relationship with somebody in a smaller bank than somebody that's at one of the biggest banks in the world, right? So once you target these smaller banks, you build relationships with them. To me, if your credit card is straight, they're going to give you more money because it's personal, right? So you want to make sure you aim for them, but at the same time, you want to keep your jacket clean. You don't want to just be burning up stuff. Like I say, you want to keep your credit under that 30% usage rate. You know what I mean? Really 10 to 12%, but 30 if you can help it. You know what I mean? But again, once you get that 10, 20, you invest in something you already invested to. You know what I'm saying? And once you do that, it's easy for you to make money. Once you start making money, it's easier for you to make money. So if you're doing music, and you investing into it and you seeing some return, it's going to become a little easier. It's going to become like second knowledge to you because if I invest in this, I know I'm going to make some money from it, right? So keep that in mind. When you're looking for money, I would suggest people fix your credit. That's the number one thing, man. Fix your credit, right? So that's one thing. The second thing, if you look for money, you can't find your credit burnt up, you know, it probably take you a minute to get it straight, you know, which I don't believe in. I believe you can find somebody to get your credit straight within 6 months, right? But if you just don't have the patience for that and you're like, man, I don't got the patience, I need this happen right now, right? My second idea is find an investor. You know, find somebody that's going to invest into you. There's a couple of different ways you can go about that. You can go an angel investor that they typically online. You just Google angel investors in such and such area. Or you can know a personal investor that you know somebody to believe in you and that's going to actually help you out. Now, when it comes to investor, it's different type of investors, right? You don't really, to me personally, I don't want to deal with an investor that's going to want their money back the next month, right? This stuff take time. Some people invest and it take years to get that money back. Of course, the faster you get it to them, the better. But you want to deal with somebody that got patience, going to take that time, not going to be hitting you up every day asking, where's my money, where's my money? You know what I mean? So first you want to find the right investor into what you got going on. Me personally, I would want to work with somebody that believes in me, you know, believes in what I got going on, investing in me too, but I would want them to believe in what I got going on. I think anybody that's investing their personal hard-earned money should believe in whatever they're doing anyway. You know what I'm saying? That's just personally. Investors, right? You want to make sure that you find a clean investor, somebody that's going to believe in your dream, invest in what you got going on. You don't want somebody that will basically pressure you into saying, hey, where's my money? Where's my money? I feel like a clean investor know what they're getting into. They know their numbers, right? But on your end, to find an investor, you want to make sure you find a person that understands borrowing and giving. You don't want to find somebody, again, that's like a loan shark or somebody that never did it before because they're not going to really have the patience with you, right? But on your end, you also want to make sure that you know your numbers. You want to make sure that I can get these people that money back, right? Because whether they're a gangster or whether they're a loan shark or whatever it is, or whether they just a straight up businessman, they want their money back, right? And there's certain ways people go about it. They could take you to court or they can handle it on their own. But either way, you want to make sure that you have your numbers straight so you can sit down and break down to these people how I'm going to get your money back. Also, you want to treat this like a real business, right? If you're trying to find an investor, Create a business plan with your music, right? Understand how you gonna get somebody money back, how you gonna make money. A lot of times I hear so much artists are looking to find people to invest into them, but you don't even know how you gonna tell your investor how you gonna make them money. How are you gonna get that 100,000 that they about to give you? How are you gonna get 50,000 that they? How you gonna get 20,000 that they about to give you? Understand your numbers. Understand how you can make money. Look into different ways that you can make money. Also understand your audience and where your reach is at, right? A lot of times you might not have the money, but you got the self and face value on social media where you know if you push it a little bit harder, you can start monetizing it. You know what I'm saying? So make sure on your end, before you even find an investor, look at your numbers. Look at how much you're making now. Look at what you could put money into now. Because personally, before I take on an investor, I want to get into it myself. I want to invest money into it myself before I'm promising somebody else I'm going to pay them that money back. Because a lot of times I think a lot of artists, you guys, I think you think that money will fix your situation. 9 times out of 10, it probably won't, right? Now, a lot of times money will fix your situation. But if you just throw a whole bunch of money in something, but you don't understand the strategics behind it, you're going to make it even worse because now you're going to get frustrated because you're burning money, you're investing money, you're not seeing it back. And to me, that's the worst feeling. You might think not having money is a bad feeling, but having money and investing money and losing it and not getting it back, that's the worst feeling because now you're spending hard on money and you don't know what you're doing and why it's going wrong. So with that being said, invest in yourself. Know your numbers before you bring somebody else into it. And then, man, just link up with somebody that's good at finance. If you personally not good at managing money, finances, investing, all those type of things, get somebody on your team that is okay with it, that is good. You got a cousin that work at a bank. You got an uncle that own a business. You got an aunt that know about numbers. Like, find somebody that's in your circle or somebody that you know of that can help you with this money thing. Because 9 times it's not about how much money you have, but it's about how you're using the money that you do have, right? It's a lot of people that will go farther that's investing a couple $1,000s than the person that's investing a couple $100,000 because the $100,000 they're spending it so much they don't really know where it's going and they're not seeing the results because they're getting taken advantage of. People tell them they could do stuff, they can't do it. Them couple $1,000s that you got, you seeing every dollar where it's going because it's not a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times it's just about how you spending it and where you spending it, not about how much you have. So you want to make sure that you're showing gratitude and you're using the money that you have so the powers that be can bless you, you know, with more money. You know what I'm saying? So let's do a countdown, man. So again, artists, if you need funding, credit. That's the number one thing. That's the easiest thing because typically you could do it for free. Now you could pay somebody to get it done faster for you. But if you're really looking to credit, you really could do this stuff free. You don't really need to pay nobody. Most people pay people because they don't have the patience to do it themselves, or they just get frustrated and they rather pay somebody else, which is perfectly fine too. But you can't do it yourself. So number 1 is credit. Number 2, investors, right? Again, make sure you know your numbers. Make sure that you're investing to yourself first before you actually start looking for people to invest in you so you can know what it feels like to earn $1 and lose $1. My number 3, if you're looking for money and you got the talent, but you need that dollar, labels. There's nothing wrong teaming up with a label. There's nothing wrong with doing a deal with a label, right? A lot of times labels, they do have the bag and they do have the machine, right? So if you don't have the money, you can't team up with a label. Now, to get with a label, it takes a little sacrifice, a lot of hard work to get a fair trade. To me, just from my experience being in the industry, most artists' first deals wasn't the best of the deals, right? Most artists' first deals, they was trying to get out the hood. They kind of took whatever, you know, just to get out of that situation. It paved out well for some people, other people it didn't, right? You got to make that decision at the end of the day when you're sitting down at the table across from whoever you're sitting down from. You got to make that decision, you know, whether you're going to take the deal or not. But that's a good way to get money. But a way to keep leverage for yourself, if you're going to look for a label, make sure you have leverage on your side. Make sure you have numbers. Make sure you have a proof of concept. Let me say that word again, proof of concept. You want to make sure that you got a proof of concept because labels are going to, you can negotiate with somebody that's trying to offer you a certain amount of money if you don't like the numbers, if you don't like the percentages, but you can't negotiate with anybody if you don't have a proof of concept, right? And a proof of concept just proving that you can do something. Hey, I deserve this amount of money because I got such and such numbers and views, and if I add that up over time, it equal this amount of money, right? So you want to make sure that before you sit down and take with any label, and really any investor, you want to make sure that you have a proof of concept, you know your numbers, you know what this can lead into if it keeps going this route. Now, there's all different type of deals. A famous deal that's going around now is your 360 deal, right? A 360 deal is kind of, it's like, you know what a 360 circle is. It's kind of taken from a little bit of everything. That's maybe your merchandise, your shows, your record, your sales. It really just depends, man. But in your certain situation, I can't say that's a bad deal, because in your situation that you in, it might be the best thing for you at that time. A lot of people be on the run. A lot of people be stuck in the hood. They trying to feed their family. So I can't really say that's a bad deal. Is it the smartest deal? I don't think so. But that 360 deal that you took could turn into millions and millions of dollars. People that did it before. You know what I'm saying? So you really got to sit down and add that up. Now, are you going to have the most money in 360 deal? No, because they taking a bit from everything that you're doing, right? So you want to make sure, again, to avoid getting in 360 deals and getting in deals you don't want to be in, come to the table with a proof of concept and leverage already. People have to meet you where you at if you come to the table with something. If you come to the table with your hand out and you don't have nothing in return, then you really don't have much room to complain or negotiate, because you didn't come to the table with enough to negotiate, right? So again, if you do need money, you kind of impatient, you don't want to take the steps, you want a label, you want somebody to front you, a label is there to do that for you, and they have a machine behind them. That's something that you can do. Now, we went over 3 things. Keep up with me. We talked about labels, we talked about credit, and we talked about investors. Another way you can do is get a job. So many artists, they have this big, this ego thing, man, that you can't work. You can't get a job. If you get a job, you're a bum, right? I don't know who keeps saying that. I don't know why you would listen to them. But if you have a dream and you need money, there's nothing wrong with getting a 9-to-5, saving up. Now, I'm not saying make that your end all be all, but if you need a side job to get you money to save up, $500 to $1,000 a month. If you invest $500 to $1,000 a month, that'll take you a long way. That's better than investing nothing. Yo, so welcome back, man. Who's That Podcast? And I was talking about just really investing into yourself and also creating that side hustle, getting that job. I think a lot of artists, you guys are looking down on jobs, right? So I believe if you don't have the money, you don't have anybody to invest in, you don't have a label to invest into, you get a job, right? It's nothing wrong working at Target, wherever you got to work at to create that extra $500 to $1,000 a month for yourself, right? If you're the entrepreneur, you say, I don't want to work for nobody. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't want to work for somebody, then just get a side hustle. Get a skill, learn a skill that you can do that can make you an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month. There's a lot of them out here, I think, with technology, Web 3.0, blockchain, crypto, stocks, all these different things out here that will allow you to make $1,000 from your seat at home. There's nothing wrong with that, but it is a skill you have to learn. So that means it takes time, and that might take time away for your craft. But if you truly believe you invest into yourself, it's something I would look into. So again, let's go back over them, because I don't want you guys to miss these things. When it comes to investing in yourself and you don't have the money, these are the things you can do. Credit, an angel investor or investor, actually getting a job, working a 9-to-5, or a record label, right? So those are the main things I think you can hit when it comes to actually just, hey, I don't have anybody to believe in me, I can do it myself. Now, to me, when I look at artists, there's always somebody they can go to in their family. So if you don't have any of those things, you don't want to learn a skill, you don't want to learn a trade, you don't want to work a 9-to-5, you don't have a label, you don't have an investor, you don't have any of these things, which I truly believe that's not true for anybody. But if you are a person with that type of situation, you have a family member that will invest something into you. It might not be a lot of money, but you might get $100 from that person, $200 from that person, $50 from that person, $20 from that person. You can put it together. So a lot of times, I think you guys don't recognize that a lot of people do get that head start by borrowing money from family members. If you ask 10 family members right now for $100 and you tell them you'll pay them back such and such time, they probably give it to you. If they actually see you working hard, being consistent. Now, for them to give you that $100, they're no different than the bank. They want to see collateral. They want to see a work plan. They want to see a business plan. They want to see something that you did that's going to make them give you money. Nobody's just going to give you anything for free. You have to show some type of consistency. You got to show some type of work. It's the same thing with a bank, a family member, a loan investor, a shark. It doesn't matter. They want to see some type of consistency over time. And then they also want to see some type of proof of concept. I think it all boils down to you, one, believing in yourself, two, being consistent, and three, not giving up, right? So before you even, we talked about how to get the money if you don't have the money, but before you even get to the money, figure out, is it even worth what you're trying to do, right? What's your goal? Because you don't, to be the biggest rapper, a lot of the biggest rappers are not the richest rappers. There's a difference between being a big rapper, being a successful business rapper. You could be the biggest artist in the world and be broke. We see it every day, right? Or you could be the most successful business artist in the world. You got all the deals, you got everything going on, but you don't have the number one hit. So it really just depends on your personal preference, where you want to go. And again, I tell you guys all the time, just because you got money don't mean you're going to pop. People spend thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. Let's take the label, for example. Labels lose so much, you guys don't even see it. They invest millions of dollars of people who don't get off the shelf. You guys only see the people that's popping. You don't see the other 10 artists that flop. They invest millions of dollars of these people, whether it's a tax write-off or not. They still took $1 million, invested in somebody, and that did not work, right? So you got to look at where you want to go, and then you also got to look at being independent. A lot of you guys want to be independent. You want to make the money yourself. You want to be the boss. You got to be the boss. You got $1 million, and Gotti said this. You got $1 million. You just got a freshman. You never had $1 million. You in the middle of the projects. You hood. Everybody depending on you. You get $1 million, and you independent now. You don't have a label backing you, nothing like that. What are you going to do with your $1 million? The average person is not going to take $975,000, at least $25,000, and invest into that stuff. They're not going to do it. They're going to go buy cars, houses. They're going to buy girls. They're going to buy mama house, daddy house, cousin house, somebody else, some jewelry. You're going to buy all the things that don't have any type of appreciation over time. It's because it's your first time having money. When you're coming from the middle of nothing and you get money, you have a tendency to spend it on things that make you look good, because you want to feel like something. You want to feel important. You want to feel like you want the world to look at you. I finally got it. I got to get the attention. That's how a lot of people think. And if you don't think like that, your actions wouldn't show that. But your actions show that you're looking for attention and you need attention. So you got to have the best car. You got to have the nice jewelry. You got to have everything to make you look like what you're trying to be. So the 9 times out of 10, independency wouldn't even work for you, because you're not going to invest your last dollar into you. It's different from investing. You guys don't even invest a couple $1,000s into you. More like invest $900,000 into yourself. So I think you guys need to open your eyes when it comes to being independent, being with a label. There's nothing wrong with being a label. There's nothing wrong with partnering up with anybody. Don't let people misconstrue you on that. Hey, it's bad to sign with a label. You need to look at your terms, look at your deal, and again, come with proof of concept, come with leverage, and you could determine your deal. You don't have to take a 360 deal. That's totally up to you. But at the same time, you got to know what you're getting off into. Birdman said it. I got to know what I'm getting off into. And if you, as a grown man or a grown woman, that you can read, write on your own, you don't have to have nobody to read for you, and you read something and you still sign it knowing you don't agree with it, that's something you got to live with. You understand what I'm saying? Can you live with that? Can you look in the mirror every day? People depending on you. Is it your only chance to get out where you at, and then you could turn to something? Because you could take that deal and turn it into a positive. Thug said his first deal was one of his worst deals ever, but he took it back because he just needed the platform. You understand what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, let's do a recap for the day, right? 1, if you need money, you don't have no money, fix your credit. That's the easiest way to get a big bag. Easiest way. You ain't got to do none of this extra stuff. All you got to do is fix your credit. How to fix my credit? Find somebody that's legit, got testimonials, got good credit itself, and actually have a legit company and business. Or you could do it yourself. It takes way longer, but you can fix your credit yourself. You just Google. We got Google. Google how to fix credit. Look up the different things. Take the time to go through and get the stuff off your credit yourself. Those are the easiest ways. 2, investor, angel investor. Find somebody that can invest into you over time. Find somebody that's okay with my money. It's gonna take a little bit to get back, but I know I'm gonna get it back. But before you start searching for investors, have your numbers together, have everything prepared for yourself. So that way, when they sit down and tell you with you, you're not scattered brain, you don't know how they can get that money back, and they looking at you like, I'm wasting my time. 3, the label. There's nothing wrong with signing a label. There's nothing wrong with signing any type of deal that you feel like will get you in a better position. But know what you're getting into. Know the percentages. Know your numbers. Know what you got to pay back. Know what you're about to step into before you step in it. Because once you're in it, it's going to be hard to get up out of it. Right? And the last thing, get a job. Not even the last thing. Get a job. Nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. Get you something that you can make a good $500 to $1,000 every month, and take that and put that into what you love. Last thing, learn a skill, learn a trade. There's nothing wrong with that. Learn something that you can do that's tangible, that's going to make you money. If you're a boss, everybody a boss nowadays. Nobody want to work for nobody. Everybody's self-made boss. Learn you a skill or a trade that you can do where you don't have to go to work with somebody. There's plenty of them out here, but you got to take time to learn that, and that's going to take an investment. You know what I'm saying? So those are all the things you need to get funded, man. Listen, I'm also helping artists out as well when it comes to learning about credit. If you need any of that, you know where to find me. Again, this is Who's That Podcast, the episode of funding, how to get that money, man. Y'all looking for that money, I'm going to teach y'all, man. Tune in, subscribe, follow us. Who's That Podcast? We out here.